our field, the risk and compliance, GRC, security field, is becoming really complicated, very complex, multinational, a lot of regulations, a lot of new threats, a lot of security challenges, and I don't think we'll be able to move forward without using AI in some capacity. And that is what Trustero is doing. It's trying to help us. I don't think we'll be able, and I don't want us to be completely replaced by AI, but just given the spectrum of information that we are working with, we can definitely use some help. And this is kind of what Trustero is doing, creating this assistant that can help us in terms of understanding the problem, giving us information, analyzing the data for us, which is amazing. With the GRC, most of the tools that we use are aimed at organizing our space. And they're doing a pretty good job at that. Don't get me wrong. Even getting organized is a big deal. Moving from Excel and Word documents into a GRC tool is a huge deal, right? But we need more than just cataloging. It is becoming so complex that even if we catalog everything, there is no one in the company who knows everything. And we don't expect them to do that. However, when you start looking at the field, you have to look at everything. There is no way around it. And trying to make sense of all the policies that you have, all the controls that you have, all the standard operating procedures that you have, and how they all fit together. On one hand is, again, the compliance aspect of it. Okay, are you compliant with that new regulation or this new standard that came out? That's one thing. But the other one is, are you optimized? Because you cannot just keep adding more people to the fray and adding more tools to the fray. At some point, you have to think about, okay, how do you increase the growth exponentially faster than the company is growing? So that's where the AI comes in with its ability to look at much more data than a single human can do and make sense out of that. So think assistant that knows everything about your environment and you can ask questions. That would be amazing. So if we look at this wider definition of compliance, and there is a reason why I'm bringing this, because we can talk about what is the value of security to the broader organization. Do you think of security as just as an insurance, or you think of security as a partner in the organization that can help you increase the efficiency of the business or in other areas? So basically that goes down to why do you have a security department? So if you look at that wider view of compliance, it's harder to make an argument that those compliance in the box tools are going to help you in that area. So I would say that those compliance in the box tools, they do an excellent job as a starting point. They give you a recipe, they give you the path forward, and they do deliver when they tell you that in 6 months you're going to get your ISO 27001 or that. And that's amazing. That's amazing first step. But that's all. It's just the first step. Sometimes, I mean, if you're just a starting company and don't have much in terms of security, that recipe may work very well for you. But if you already have something established or you have some intricacies, that recipe may be counterproductive and you start modifying it a lot. And the moment you start modifying it, you need some expertise to help you get there, right? Because the original out-of-the-box recipe doesn't work. That could be a challenge. Another challenge could be once you start expanding beyond the baseline of, you mentioned SOC 2 and ISO 27001, once you start adding more frameworks, I'm not saying that they don't have it. A lot of them, they actually have a slew of frameworks as part of the solution. But once you start doing that and you start talking about unified control framework, then you start asking yourself, is this the optimal way of looking at it? And then when we start talking about the broader scope of compliance that I mentioned earlier, that becomes even more complicated. And those tools do not give you that, right? So again, really, really good first step. But if you start thinking about broader compliance, broader security, that's not enough.